Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'da, habibti fillah. I was asked a question, and after reflecting upon it, I thought it would be beneficial to mention some issues pertaining to this question. And I want to make this very clear. This is not a fatwa. This is not a religious ruling coming from me, as I am most definitely not a person who has knowledge to be making fatwa or other than that. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us all of our misdeeds. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So our beloved brother, who I believe from his details, he mentioned that he wants to go study in Egypt. And he mentioned about a famous markaz there in Egypt, but because the laws have changed now in Egypt, he will not be able to get legal residence or residence that will allow him to stay and study at this Salafi markaz. So there is another markaz which is well known, and many Salafis I've known over the years have went to this particular markaz. I myself, if I had the opportunity, I would go to this markaz as well. And he mentioned that with this markaz that there are teachers that are not Salafi, that are Khwani, that are possibly Sufi and so forth. But remember, habibti fillah, this is a markaz for the Arabic language. We're not saying go study with Ahl Bid'ah. This is not the purpose. But we want to mention that there are many details with this, and I'm going to begin first with a true story that took place when I was in Yemen. A great imam, some brothers who were from Ahl Sunnah, who wanted to study at a particular place which was known to be a place of Ikhwan Muslimin. And they asked this great imam about studying at this particular place of Ahl Bid'ah. They said, Sheikh, we're aware of the mistakes there. We're aware it's Ikhwani and Sururiya, and we're aware of the details regarding those manahij, and we are from Ahl Sunnah. The Sheikh accepted that from them and gave them fatwa when he is an imam known for fighting bid'ah and speaking harshly against that particular place to study. With that, he gave a fatwa for those particular brothers to go study there. Because of their particular situation, they were unable to go to some of the Marakis of Sunnah. Okay? So with that in mind, and with all the details, without getting extensive into the details about studying with Ahl Bid'ah, that of course, ala itlaq, in total, as an absolute principle, that is not the case, meaning that you, under certain circumstances, it will be permissible. If you are in a situation, you have no other way to seek knowledge that is an absolute necessity, except going to someone, perhaps who's even a Sufi. We're not saying study i'tiqad, but he does not have bid'ah in that particular area that you need to study and take knowledge from. Then you take knowledge. For example, let's make the picture clear. If you're in Seattle, you're in Cardiff, you're in Hull, England, wherever you are, Lahore, Pakistan, and you're learning how to read the Quran. You do not know how to read Quran properly. You cannot read Surah Al-Fatiha properly. So this is ilm al-dururi. This is a knowledge that you absolutely need. And the only option you have is this local imam who's a known Sufi, but he is excellent in his Quranic recitation and the rules of tajweed and so on and so forth. And all you are going to do is take that knowledge which he has itqan, precision in. But you are not studying Aqidah from him, which would be what you would be concerned with. In this situation, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, and this is from what we studied with our Imma, is that it would be permissible to study. And I've heard Imam Fawzan make a statement similar to this. As long as the bid'ah is not in that particular fin that you're going to take from this person from Ahl Bid'ah. So this is a knowledge that is a necessity. So going back to the particular brother situation, my advice as a brother, and this is not a religious verdict, is that because the Arabic language takes time to acquire and to become proficient in, that you should go where you're going to get a legal stay, to go to the center that you mentioned that has Ikhwanis and what have you, but you can get a legal stay to stay in the country. You do not want to go, even if it's Salafi Markaz, and you stay for 1 month and you have to leave the country. You can't afford it. You won't be able to afford to come back. You won't have studied hardly anything. You won't have benefited what is sufficient for you to gain knowledge of the Arabic language so you can benefit from the books and benefit from the Imams of Ahl Sunnah. So my advice would be to humble yourself and go take that beneficial knowledge and prepare yourself, do what it takes also to sit outside of the markaz, as far as sitting in a Salafi dars, in a halaqah with the Salafiyun, to make sure, just to keep you fresh, keep you focused, so that way you aren't influenced by the environment of that markaz. A second piece of advice is do whatever it takes to finish the course. I know that particular institute. I know in 1 year you can gain tremendous benefit. If you can do 2 years and even become an Arabic, get their program, their diploma for teaching Arabic as a second language, which if I had the time, I would do. I would go to Egypt just for that. Then do so. Do so. Take your resources and stay put. Do everything it takes to finish the course, because that is your asas. If you get strong Arabic, you will not have to keep going back over the same books as myself have, because my Arabic, when I began studying Arabic, I stopped and I started and I stopped and I started. I studied how many times different grammar books, same grammar books, and still, because of lack of memorization, because of that, I have many mistakes and have to go back and make revision of those same durus. So my advice is, one time, get it very strong, because that's going to lay a foundation for all the rest of your studies. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq, wal ikhlas, wa thabat. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.